Welcome everybody to the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Monday, September 22nd, 2014, and we got a jam-packed show today. A lot of injuries happening to the NFL and some college football teams we'll talk about. Sadly for me as a Chargers fan, Danny Woodhead, who is a key guy in third downs and catching passes out of the backfield, he is out for the year is what it's looking like with I don't know the exact injury, but it looks like broken ankle or foot. Either way, it's bad, and it's sad. It's sad. But we got to talk about that. Also, top 25 to change big time after ranked teams go down and all sorts of craziness in college football. Again, which we will talk about in just a little bit. One thing I just want to get out the way first is thank you guys so much for listening on Saturday mornings when I do my predictions, even though most of the time I think I'm right at, I haven't checked, I don't know where my list is. I think I'm right at 500, maybe a little bit above 500 on picking college football and NFL games. It's just not, I don't know. And if I'm fantasy football right now, I don't know what's going on. I just traded Jamal Charles. It's crazy. It's crazy. I like to give fantasy advice because usually past years it's been pretty good. For this year, I don't even want to give you guys fantasy advice because if my team is 0-2 right now and if I don't have a big game by Brandon Marshall and Jay Cutler tonight, I'm about to drop to 0-3, which I've never done in fantasy football before. I've been 1-2 a lot of times. I've never been 0-3, and this is bad. But anyways, let's go ahead and move forward and talk about NCAA college football news. I don't know why I keep saying NCAA. But anyways, Rutgers starting running back Paul James will miss the remainder of the season after sustaining a torn ACL in his right knee during Saturday's win at Navy. Paul James has 363 yards, rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns on the year and leads the American Athletic Conference with 97.9 rushes yards per game. So it's a huge loss for Rutgers as, their top running back and being really good so far on the year. So having him out is a huge loss for Rutgers as Gary Nova has to lead this team somehow. I remember I think he was a redshirt freshman in his sophomore year. Rutgers was really, really good. They had Brandon Coleman, the tall wide receiver who was like 6'6", and I'm not saying that was what they listed him on paper. He's literally about 6'5", 6'6". And then they also had another tall wide receiver who was also about the same height. They were dominating what was the Big East at the time. And I don't know what's happened. I don't know if they moved on, but I know Gary Nova's still there. He's got to lead that team somehow. And now he's got to do it without his top running back. Clemson will start true freshman quarterback Deshaun Watson against North Carolina this weekend, Coach Dabo Swinney said Sunday, after Watson finished 19 of 28 for 266 yards against Florida State. Now, and for a lot of people that have been following Deshaun Watson, that's been following Clemson, ACC news, everybody said, hey, Watson is most likely going to start week 1 just because of his ability. He can run, he can obviously throw the ball, but it just brings, a lot of energy to the team, and they thought he was just better in practice than what was the backup quarterback's name? I don't have it. Well, everybody knows it now, the backup quarterback. They thought he was a lot better. And after every game that Watson came in to relieve, I wish I put that guy's name down. I don't have it. Anyways, he put it, he would come in and he would do even better than the previous starting quarterback. So everybody thought, okay, well, next week Watson's going to start. Or there should be some bigger, step it up a little bit. Nope. Finally, Deshaun Watson is going to be the starting quarterback for Clemson Tigers against North Carolina this weekend. This is what Coach Dabo Swinney had to say. He said, quote, he just played great, took care of the ball, and made some big plays. So we're really proud of him. You never know until you see them in that situation. We know we have something special in that young man, and to see him go forward and execute like he did was fun to be a part of. And so it's going to be exciting to see Deshaun Watson, and he did a really good job. 19 of 28 for 266 against Florida State's defense. It's a good job. It's a good job. He didn't get the W, but still a very good job to keep the game in a lot closer. Maryland starting defensive end Quinton Jefferson will undergo season-ending knee surgery Friday. Excuse me. Jefferson injured his knee September 13th against West Virginia. He had started Maryland's first 3 games after starting all 13 last season. He's 6'3", 285 pounds as a junior. So obviously he's going to be out this year. Might be able to apply for medical redshirt, but he still got a senior year, so he probably won't. He had 47 tackles and 7.5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks last season. This year he had 8 tackles and a sack. So at 6'3", 285, and the stats that you did last year, and now this season's over with, but you already had a sack and 8 tackles. Not too bad. Scouts are still going to be watching this guy. I mean, when I was reading about him, I was like, whoa, 6'3", 285, pretty good stats. Yeah, he's going to have a knee injury, season-ending knee injury surgery. He should be all, if he comes back and plays like he did his sophomore year, Scott, you're looking at a first-round draft pick right here. But that is it for college football news. We will go on to the scores. And, boy, there were some good games. And it all started off Thursday with number 5 Auburn and 20 Kansas State. Auburn squeezing through to get a 20-14 victory. Just amazing way to start off the week. And we didn't know what kind of week we're about to have in college football. But one thing I do want to say is Melvin Gordon. I said he was going to have a big game. I know they played Bowling Green State, but I said in my predictions he was going to have a huge game. A lot bigger than I thought he was going to have. 13 carries, 253 yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns, all for Melvin Gordon and Wisconsin as they won huge. But first we'll start number 2, Oregon and Washington State. Marcus Mariota, nearly perfect. 21 of 25, 329 yards, 5 touchdowns passing. But the Washington State quarterback said, hey, I can throw the ball too, and I'm going to do it effectively against your defense. I'm going to expose your defense. He went 43 of 63, 436 yards, and 4 passing touchdowns. But ultimately, Washington State had 2 turnovers, which cost them as they lose 38-31 to Oregon, as Oregon remains undefeated on the year. Then number 22 Clemson went on the road to play number 1 Florida State without Jameis Winston. And they kept it close, but overall, the backup quarterback for Florida State went 21 of 39, 305 yards, and a touchdown was enough to carry the team, even though they were lost in about every category you could have. Final score is 23-17, Florida State winning, but you were outgained 407 to 318 total offensive yards. You had 2 turnovers to their 1. And they won time of possession of 32 minutes and 41 seconds to your 27-19. Now, I know you didn't have Jameis Winston, but, hey, you're not completely unstoppable. Clemson had a pretty good defense. I know they're 1-2, but Clemson's a lot better team than a 1-2 record. So, Florida State, once you play Notre Dame later in the season, you better watch out. That's why I'm predicting Florida State's first loss is against Notre Dame. We'll talk about that once it actually comes up to that week. Then Florida went on the road to play number 3 Alabama. It was a lot closer than the score indicated. The final score was 42-21. But it was close. It was close. It was 14-21 at halftime. But then, Alabama started to get that, roll tide. No pun. Actually, that was pun intended. But they got it going. But Jeff Driscoll, for the quarterback for Florida, not good. Not good at all. 9 of 28. Yes, 9 of 28. 93 yards and 1 touchdown. Also led the team in rushing with 11 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown. That's not good when Jeff Driscoll is your leading rusher. That means you didn't get nothing going on the ground. Absolutely nothing. Because he's not a scrambling quarterback, or at least he's not a very good one. So for him to lead your team in carries, in rushing yards, not good. No matter who you're playing. But Blake Sims went in there, and he was 23 of 33, 445 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Amari Cooper, Heisman nominee, that's for sure. I'm trying to find the right word. 10 receptions, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's had at least 100 yards receiving every single game this season. Now he just had 200. He just wanted to top it. Bama had 265 yards of total offense against Florida. A lot of people thought Florida, I predicted Florida to win. I thought they were going to get the upset. And it looked like if the first half continued, it looked like they could have got that done. But Alabama, they're showing, hey, might have squeaked through the first few games, but we're the real team. So Bama improves to 4-0 with the victory. And then number 4, Oklahoma, went on the road to play West Virginia in a very close game, back-to-back shootout. They had for Oklahoma, their redshirt freshman, I believe, or freshman running back, 34 carries, 242 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Trevor Knight had 205 yards passing, no touchdowns. But, hey, when you got a running back that runs for 4 touchdowns on the road, a freshman, you don't need to throw a passing touchdown. West Virginia committed 3 turnovers that ultimately just hurt them as they lose 45-33 at home. But Kevin White, this is a wide receiver, also Heisman nominee. He's not talked about. Needs to be 10 receptions, 173 yards, and a touchdown. I believe he's also had 100 yards receiving in every game. So he's another guy to watch out for as well. Then number 6, Texas A&M went on the road to play poor SMU and just dominated them. Kenny Hill, 16 of 22, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns to get the victory, 58-6. A&M's first time being 4-0 since 2006. So, no Johnny Manziel, no problem. Then Mississippi State went on the road to play number 8 LSU. Now, a lot of people, it was mixed. A lot of people had Mississippi State. A lot of people had LSU. I was one of them that picked LSU because I thought, hey, I know Mississippi State, they usually have these good starts, but when they play the bigger teams like LSU, they always get creamed. They get dominated. No, not this time. Mississippi State went on the road and defeated number 8 LSU 34-29. Dak Prescott was 15 of 24, 268, and 2 touchdowns. While LSU's quarterback, 6 of 9, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. 6 of 9, still threw 140. But still, Mississippi State improves to 4-0 and knocks out number 8 LSU. LSU, that hurt your playoff chances right there. You need to bounce back big in the in the SEC, because Mississippi State just took your spot. That is crazy. Mississippi State, they're probably the real deal. They're most likely are. If you could go on the road, play LSU, and just dominate them, because it was domination all over the place. It was 17-3 at halftime. I'm just saying, Mississippi State, hey, you proved me wrong. Then Eastern Michigan went on the road to play Michigan State, number 11 Michigan State, and of course Michigan State just looks like just a real playoff team. I don't know how they're not moved up higher. I know they lost the game, but twice they've scored 73 points, 70 plus points. I know one of them was to an FCS team. Eastern Michigan, I mean, they're not bad, but they're not good either. Anyways, Michigan State 73-14 victory over Eastern Michigan. Then Troy went on the road to play number 13 Georgia. Georgia won a little bit of revenge after losing. They bounced back 66-0. Number 14 South Carolina went on the road to Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt actually kept it close for a team that didn't know the meaning of offense. They actually scored, but that also shows you how bad South Carolina's defense is. Final score 48-34, South Carolina with the victory. Then Indiana went on the road to number 18 Missouri and shocked everybody as Indiana gets the victory 31-27. Bowling Green, poor Bowling Green, went on the road to number 19 Wisconsin, and Melvin Gordon, we talked about him just a second ago, 13 carries, 253, 5 touchdowns. That's all you need to know, because Gordon and Wisconsin got the victory 68-17. Then Virginia went to BYU, and it was close, but I didn't think it'd be a high-scoring game. Both of these offenses, well, BYU's offense is obviously a lot better than Virginia's offense, but just didn't think, because of both of their defenses being very good, did not think it would be a high-scoring game, which it was. And Virginia, this is the crazy part. Virginia owned time of possession and offensive yards and won the turnover battle. Everything you're supposed to do right in football, It shows you that stats really don't matter at the end. Still lost. Virginia still lost after owning everything right there. Lost. The final score was 41-33. Virginia had 519 yards of total offense compared to BYU's 332. Virginia had actually, that's bad turnover. Okay, that's not takeaways. Virginia had 2 turnovers, so that's what they lost by. But they won time of possession 40 minutes, basically 41 minutes to 19 minutes to BYU. Wow. But as you can see, I thought those were takeaways. Those are turnovers right there. That's obviously the key reason you lost. BYU improves to 4-0. Then Miami, the U, went on the road to play number 24 Nebraska. Awesome game. Actually, I think it was a lot. I think Nebraska just dominated them. I know the score indicates that they only lost by 10 points, but Nebraska it was domination all over the place. Abdullah had 35 carries, 229 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tommy Armstrong Jr. was 9 for 13, 113 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Just dominated the game. Final score is 41-31. Nebraska gets the victory. So that's it for college football. Recapping the week 4 for them. Be sure to catch I was trying to move to the NFL side. Be sure to catch Saturday mornings at around 8 a.m. I tried to get around there this past Saturday. I kind of missed it by like 2 hours. That was my fault. But come here Saturday mornings, iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and you will see the predictions that we have for both college football and the NFL. So be sure to catch us on Saturday mornings here, as it's just, prediction show. And I have my pick list somewhere. I got to find it. I'll go and get it, and I'll let everybody know where we're at, and also let me know where you're at when you're doing the predictions as well. But moving on to the NFL, we just have some injury news, lots of injury news, not just some, a lot of injury news. I also have really sad news, as it was reported yesterday, as former Tennessee Titans kicker Rob Briones died Saturday night after a car accident near his home. He said that he lost control on a curve in his 2009 GMC Yukon Denali and crashed after 11 p.m. less than a mile from home. Police said in a statement on the department website that his SUV was speeding when it went off the road and hit a line of trees before coming to a stop upside down in a culvert. Sorry. He was taken to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Police say there was no evidence of alcohol or drugs at the scene, so I have to keep up for that. Hopefully there wasn't, but still sad news for him. He was the 4th most accurate kicker in NFL history, connecting on 85.7% of his kicks, which is, to get more technical, it was 239 of 279 kicks. That's pretty darn good. Only David Akers made more field goals between 2005 and 2013. So, also he ranks 3rd, making 75.2% of his kicks from 40 yards or longer. So, could have a spot up there in Canton waiting for him about, I guess, 3 to 4 years. I think it's different after you pass away. I think you don't have to wait 5 years. I think it's 3 to 4, something like that. So, should have a spot as, as a 4th best kicker basically in NFL history. That's not bad. But obviously sad news for Tennessee Titans and the NFL. But on the brighter side, I always have trouble making transitions on this part. A sweet moment for Seattle Seahawks defensive back Deshaun Shedd. About 30 minutes after the victory, he got dressed in a dress shirt and slacks. He told his girlfriend, Jessica Martinez, to meet him on the field along with some family members. The next thing Martinez saw was her face on the big screen, and about a dozen of Shedd's teammates, including cornerback Richard Sherman, linebacker Mike Morgan, and defensive end O'Brien Schofield, ran out on the field to join him. That's when Martinez was given a big bouquet of flowers as Shedd took a knee and asked Martinez if she would marry him, and of course he said yes. There's pictures all over Twitter and Instagram. I don't know if it's still trending. I know last night it was still trending. So you guys might want to check it out. And I'm sure there's a video on YouTube of it all, how it all happened. But Deshaun Chet is going to get married. So that's good news. Yay. Okay. Let's get on to some manly stuff like football. Yeah. But this is actually bad. So if I list your team here, then just bear with me, okay? Because it hurt me because I had lost somebody. And Danny Woodhead, out for the year. Broken ankle, leg, whatever it is, doesn't matter. He's gone for the year. He's going to get a second opinion, but he's gone. And we also have Ryan Matthews, who's out 4 to 6 weeks. Donald Brown, it's all up to you. But we also got a guy, we got Brandon Oliver, kind of looks like Darren Sproles. He doesn't like that comparison, but he wears 43. He's 5'6". They look the same. And then we also have Marion Grice, who's also an awesome running back from Arizona State. Rookie. Both of those are Oliver and Grice are rookies, so hopefully we don't have any rookie pains with them because they look pretty good. But anyways, Arizona Cardinals cornerback Antonio Cromartie said he won't know the severity of his hyperextended left knee until later today. Cromartie went down near the Cardinals sideline in the third quarter and left the game walking off under his own power, but he did not return. So find out later today. Then Washington Redskins cornerback D'Angelo Hall said doctors told him he likely tore his left Achilles tendon, which, if true, would sideline him for the entire season. Hall will undergo an MRI today to confirm what he has been told, or what he said has been told. Hall suffered the injury in the third quarter in Washington's 37-34 loss to Philadelphia. Then the Oakland Raiders starting wide receiver Rod Streeter and starting safety Tyvon Branch both were carted off the field with foot fractures. It is not known if either player will be able to return this season. Detroit Lions linebacker Stephen Tulloch injured his left knee on a celebration, which a lot of people are comparing it to the Arizona Cardinals kicker way back in the day. He kicked the field goal, he jumped up in the air, and bam, tore his ACL, just like that. They're hoping it's not a torn ACL for Stephen Tulloch, but he did not return in the Lions' victory over the Packers. The extent of Tulloch's knee injury is unknown, and neither Detroit's middle linebacker nor head coach Jim Caldwell would speculate on the severity of the injury, saying, quote, this is what Tulloch had to say. I couldn't finish the celebration or whatever it was. It's unfortunate, man, when you're passionate about the game. You want to step up and celebrate, or you want to get up and celebrate, and it happened. People do it a million times. Unfortunately, it happened to me, but I've been healthy for 9 years in my career and never missed a game. Which, that last point is, it's awesome, but you might have just injured yourself pretty bad. So, kids, what did you learn today? Just don't celebrate, okay? Act like you've done it before. Act like you've sacked a quarterback. Act like you've tackled a running back for a loss before. Just get up, get back to the line. Your fans are still going to cheer for you anyways, whether you celebrate or don't. So, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So, there you go, kids. Don't celebrate because you're just probably going to get hurt. All right, moving on. The Baltimore Ravens tight end Dennis Pitta remains hospitalized after suffering a dislocated hip and is scheduled for more tests on Monday, which is today, to determine if the hip is fractured, a league source told ESPN. Pitta was carted off the field late in the second quarter of Sunday's last-second 23-21 victory over the Browns. With uncertainty surrounding the severity of the injury, the test will help determine whether it is a season-ending injury or career-ending injury. And there's a small chance, very, very small, slim. They're just keeping it out there for hope that he might be able to return this year. Ravens are examining his right hip, the same one he had surgery on last season and which knocked him out last season. So huge loss for the Ravens and, of course, for Dennis Pitta. Vikings quarterback Matt Castle left the game what was later diagnosed as a broken left foot, which means it's Teddy Bridgewater time. Castle's going to be out for a while. That means Teddy Bridgewater steps in. He completed 12 of 20 passes for 150 yards in relief of Castle. So it's all Teddy Bridgewater show now, which is what a lot of Vikings fans wanted. They just probably didn't want Castle to get hurt. And that's what happened. And last but not least, and probably the most severe, is the worst news for the Steelers. As rookie inside linebacker Ryan Shazier left early in the third quarter with a knee injury and did not return. Outside linebacker Jarvis Jones was out with a wrist injury and also failed to return. Then veteran cornerback Ike Taylor left the game with just under 10 minutes to go in the third with a broken right forearm. Just like that. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, man. What a crazy, crazy week 3 it was. Also tonight, it's not over yet. Hopefully the injuries are, but it's not over yet. The Chicago Bears go on the road to play the New York Jets on ESPN tonight, which will be a very interesting game. Now, I'm just hoping and praying that Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall can hook up for about 2 to 3 touchdowns. If they get at least 2 touchdowns each and none to Martellus Bennett, I'm going to come back and win. If not, I am going to drop to 0-3 in fantasy football. Not good at all. Not good. I'm kind of scared. I am scared. Because I'm playing, usually I just played with just random group of people. I'm actually playing with my friends now. They finally set one up, and that's bad. When you start off 0-3 with your friends, you're just going to hear a bunch of crap. It's just not good. It's not good. So let's move on. Let's move on to week 3 recapping. First, we will start off with my San Diego Chargers. Superchargers. All right. Sorry. They went on the road to play the Buffalo Bills, who were 2-0 at the time. We were 1-1. Should have been 2-0, just saying. And Phillip Rivers, awesome job. 18 of 25, 256 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Donald Brown, who went in his first game starting for the San Diego Chargers, 31 carries, 62 yards, no touchdowns. But hey, got the job done. Committed no turnovers, won the time of possession, had more total offensive yards. That is what you do. Bam. That's what gets the victory. 22-10. The San Diego Chargers improved to 2-1 and now are tied for first place. Ching. Awesome. The Dallas Cowboys went on the road to play the St. Louis Rams, and it came back. They were down 21 points and came back and won. The final score was 34-31. Tony Romo, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns. DeMarco Murray, another 100-yard gain for him and a touchdown. And Dez Bryant, 89 yards and a touchdown for him. But how about Austin Davis? I believe that's his name, the quarterback for St. Louis Rams. He might be pretty legit, honestly. He was 30 of 42, 327 yards, 3 touchdowns. Again, I know that's the Cowboys defense, but this is like his third or second game that he's thrown over. I believe it's actually his second game. He's thrown over 300 plus yards. Not bad. Not bad at all. He did, I believe, have a pair of picks, but one of them wasn't his fault. I think it bounced off of somebody and then was picked off. But hey, fantasy might be looked at, but Cowboys get the victory 34-31 and improve to 2-1. So it's the first time, and it could be the last time we could say Cowboys are above 500. That's awesome for the Cowboys. Woo! The Redskins went on the road to play the Philadelphia Eagles, and fights were breaking out. Everybody was fighting mainly because of Nick Foles getting pushed to the ground and why can't I think of his name? Oh my gosh, this Sean Jackson. That's who I'm trying to think of. You know, him playing his old team for the first time. They're going at it. Kirk Cousins, 30 of 48, 427 yards and 3 touchdowns. Pierre Garçon led the team with 138 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Then Nick Foles on the other side, 325 yards, 3 touchdowns. LaShawn McCoy, only 22 yards on 19 carries, so he wasn't doing good before he got hurt. Had a concussion, was out for the rest of the game. Darren Sproles went in, did what he could. Jeremy Maclin, name we haven't really talked about. He had 8 receptions, 154 yards, and a touchdown. But even though the Redskins had 511 total yards of offense compared to Eagles, 379, wasn't enough to get the victory. Then the Texans went on the road to play the woeful Giants. They were 0-2. Giants looked bad all over the field. They even did in the first half where they I don't think Manning threw an interception, did he? That was like his first time this season. But they fumbled. There we go. I'm trying to think of what happened. They fumbled. Texans in the goal and the red zone. Texans return it, for about 20 plus yards or so. And then the next few drives down, they set up for a field goal. The snap goes by the kicker and the holder. They lose points there again. But Ryan Fitzpatrick does what he does best and throws 3 interceptions. And the Giants, yes, I said it right. The Giants get the victory 30-17 over the Texans. Both of these teams are just terrible. Texans aren't a good 2-1 team, and Giants are just 1-2, so they're just bad. The Vikings and the Saints went at it. The Saints dominated the Vikings 20-9 as Drew Brees had 293 yards and 2 touchdowns. Teddy Bridgewater, we talked about him just a second ago, 150 yards as he was 12 of 20. No running game whatsoever for the Vikings. That's most likely why they lost with 12 carries, 35 yards, and that was it. And Adrian Peterson, that's another story, but oh, wow. We talked about in the offseason he was wanting to leave the Vikings to go to the Cowboys. Well, you left the Vikings, but you're probably not going anywhere else. And then the next game, the Titans at the Bengals. Bengals dominating 3-0. Andy Dalton, not only can he throw the ball for touchdowns, which he didn't do in this game, but he can also catch a touchdown. He caught a touchdown from, I believe it was Sanu, who, I don't know if he used to be a backup quarterback, but this is not his first time. He's throwing a lot of end-around passes for touchdowns and big gains. I don't know if he was a backup quarterback somewhere, but he is really good. So add him on your fantasy team. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to add him because if he's going to give me receiving yards, rushing yards, and passing yards, and a passing touchdown, I'm just saying that might be pretty good. But I don't know. It depends on what league you're in. Sometimes they won't. It doesn't matter. If they're just receiver, only the receiving stats count, and that's it. So depends on what league you're in. But anyways, the Bengals win 33-7. Andy Dalton, awesome job. A.J. Green, 102 yards again for the Bengals. Ravens and the Browns. What a trick play for the Browns with Johnny Manziel. I had the TV mute, and because I was watching another game, but watching one game on TV. Yeah, I'm weird sometimes. And I just saw Johnny Manziel running, walking back as he was supposed to be the starting quarterback for that play. Then he walks back and he fakes an argument with the offensive coordinator, and boom, he's supposed to be a wide receiver basically. Runs down the field, catches a pass from Brian Hoyer, and goes about, I think it was 39 yards or so. But it was called back because it was an illegal, I don't know the exact term. But anyways, they're just hating on Johnny Football. That's all it was. They were just hating on Johnny Brown. And so it didn't count. But anyways, the Ravens get the victory, 23-21. The Browns are now 1-2. But Hoyer, he was 290 yards. No interceptions, no turnovers for him. So do you keep him starting quarterback? Do you move Johnny Football in to probably increase that win to loss ratio? I'm just saying, I want to see Johnny Brown out there, Johnny Football. Packers and the Lions. I don't think anybody had this game to be the final score of 7-19. I think a lot of people had probably a good 30-40 something, 28-35 or so. No, Packers they were shut out from second quarter to the fourth quarter. Final score: the Lions 19 and the Packers 7. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers fall to 1-2. Ouch. Something's got to happen. Colts at the Jaguars. Andrew Luck throws 4 touchdowns and nearly perfect as well. 31 of 39, 370 yards over the poor Jacksonville Jaguars. Final score 44-17. And also the Colts are just 1-2. Not good either. Then the Raiders went to New England to play the Patriots, and Tom Brady 234 yards and a touchdown. And Derek Carr, 21-34, 174 yards. He's really not getting past 170-plus yards passing, is he? Just not good. Very boring game as well. 16-9 was your final score. What's going on with the Patriots? This is not the old Patriots that we know where they're scoring 28-plus points to 30-plus points a game. 16, and then last week they scored, 14 or 12 or something? This is ridiculous. This is not the Patriots we know. Tom Brady, better step it up. I cut him. It's okay. He's not on my fantasy team anymore. 49ers went on the road to play the Cardinals, and somehow the Cardinals are now undefeated as they beat the 49ers 23-14. I don't think anybody knew this was going to happen. Drew Stanton is threw for 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. Over the 49ers? Whoa, so the 49ers dropped to 1-2, and the Cardinals are 3-0? That's not a typo. That's not me misspoken. Cardinals are 3-0. And number 1, sole place in the NFC West. 49ers are tied with the freaking Rams for last place. We haven't said that since 05 or something. It's ridiculous. Then the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl rematch. Everybody was waiting for this game, and what an intense game it was. Broncos come back and score 17 points in the fourth quarter, including a two-point conversion to tie the game 20-20. But Seahawks win the coin toss as they drive down the field. Russell Wilson being very efficient on that last drive and win. Marshawn Lynch punches it in for his first touchdown and the main touchdown that counts. As the Seahawks get the victory over the Broncos. There's no revenge. 26-20 in overtime. Awesome game it was. I recorded it. I'm going to save that game too, and I'm going to keep it because that was just the best game of this week. And then the Chiefs at the Dolphins. Somehow the Chiefs get the victory. I was really hoping the Chiefs could lose because then they would drop to 0-3. Raiders are 0-3. Now the Broncos are 2-1. Chargers are 2-1. We're tied for first. And the Broncos have a bye week. And the Chargers next week, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. And if the Colts can dominate the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm pretty sure, and we dominate the Seahawks, I am pretty sure we could dominate Jacksonville at home, get the victory, and improve to 3-1. Take a half-game lead for first place, sole possession. That's all I'm saying. Boom, right over the Broncos. I'm sorry, that was a lot. That was intense. I just really want my Chargers to get up there. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want. But Chiefs sadly get the victory, so now they're like 1-2, which I just want them to lose another game. That was the whole point. They won over the Dolphins 34-15. As Niall Davis 132 yards rushing. As he takes the place of Jamal Charles. Then last night, Steelers at the Carolina Panthers and just dominated the Panthers 37-19. Cam Newton, 250 yards and a touchdown. Kelvin Benjamin, 8 receptions, 115 yards and a touchdown. He's a real deal, guys. Real deal. A lot of people question the Panthers picking him up in the draft in the first round, saying there's better receivers out there. He's doing a good job to make sure everybody just eats those words. But Steelers dominate and lose. Remember, they lost 3 players on defense, just like that. 3 starters on defense with this victory. Both teams go to 2-1. And that is it for NFL. Again, tonight, the Chicago Bears go on the road to play the New York Jets. Jake Cutler, Brandon Marshall, I need y'all to score each at least 2 touchdowns. Thank you, Julio Jones, for Thursday night. Gave me 28 points. Martellus Bennett, I need him to just miss the game somehow, some way. I just need him to miss the game. No receptions, no nothing for him. But thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you guys next Monday morning for the Short Sports Show where we recap this is now week 4 for the NFL and week 5 for college football. Also join me this Saturday morning to get our predictions. Also let me know your predictions for, again, week 4 of the NFL and week 5 of college football. Thank you guys so much for listening. Become a fan on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Also follow me on Twitter at @short_sports 24/7. Whether you're listening on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube. Thank you guys so much for listening. Links are in the description for other things. I will see you guys again next Monday morning for The Short Sports Show and this Saturday for the Short Sports Picks. I like picking up names. I think they're pretty cool. But thank you guys again for listening. I will see you guys then. As always, God first, God bless. I am out. Peace.